So February 9th, 1964, our whole generation had the epiphany of seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. They introduced a whole new world to us that didn't exist before, the world of a band as opposed to solo performers, which communicated something completely different. It wasn't, look at me, I'm in the spotlight. It was about us. It was about the family, friendship, ultimately a communicated community. So this was extremely attractive to me. But we met the Beatles halfway through their career, so they were already very, very sophisticated. And while they revealed a new world, it wasn't like you could just do that. You know, we couldn't quite picture ever doing that. They were just too perfect. But 4 months later, I had a second epiphany when the Rolling Stones performed on a variety show called Hollywood Palace. It was the first week of June. And it was interesting because the Rolling Stones, take it easy, baby. The Rolling Stones made it look a lot easier than the Beatles did. They made it look easier than it actually was. But what was interesting was Dean Martin was the host. Now, I'm Italian-American, so growing up with that whole Italian-American tradition of Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, Tony Bennett, that whole world was part of my parents' world. And we respected it. And so Dean Martin introduces the Rolling Stones that night and made fun of them, and which seemed very appropriate for that generation to do. The Rolling Stones were quite outrageous at the time, you know. And so that night I saw my past meet my future, basically. With Dean Martin introducing the Rolling Stones, I felt totally appropriately for that generation making fun of them. Of course, the Rolling Stones didn't appreciate it. I think Keith Richards is still angry about that to this day. But for those of us who are watching, it was like, wow, there's the past and there's the future right there before us. And that was the day I said, you know, the Beatles, you know, they're really great. I'm not sure I can ever do that. Rolling Stones, you know, maybe I could do that, you know? So that's what it was.